Hello.
You didn't hear it, but I've already, like, yawned twice. It's kind of nutty. Also, why isn't it... There we go. Bing. Ding. How am I doing today?
Hello.
Tired. I think that's the best way to describe it at this point. Hi there, Jason. Hello. Welcome. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're all doing okay. Nice work on the himbo rating there, Masonic. But yeah, so, Sunday, I'm gonna be real with you. I was very, very close to ordering McDonald's, or Hungry Jack's, or just something with, like, hamburgers and chicken and shit. So, I was very close to that. I got down to like 104 kilograms this morning. Yesterday was like 104.1. I didn't order any fast food. I did go through like a liter of Coke no sugar though to keep me awake.
Kobe Yoshi with the 42-month tier 1 sub.
Yay!
How many stream babies is that now?
I don't know. I don't keep track of that. 42 months. That's 12. So wait, 9, 18, 37. No wait, 36. 45. And then, so yeah, so between 4 and 5 right now. 40, so, you know, we're almost at the thingy-majiggy. Also, like, fingers are working a little bit better right now. So, bam. Almost. So, dunk. But yeah, so, Sunday, was so close to ordering McDonald's or Hungry Jack's or something like that. And thankfully, it didn't get to that, thanks to Jack the Crow. We played like Monster Hunter Wilds together for a little bit, and I was like drinking like a liter of Coke no sugar. Granted, I probably shouldn't have drank a liter of Coke no sugar, even if it was like, you know, a 0-calorie kind of drink and would actually like contribute towards the whole like, you know, oh, you're meant to consume like 2 liters of water and shit like that. I'm always forgetting to, you know, do 2 liters of water a day kind of thing. I know it's a recommendation,
You're
but
not
sometimes...
keeping track of our children? You're meant to be the responsible one.
No, I'm not gonna keep track of children. I don't do babies. Does this look like a reasonable adult to you? I can't even tuck my shirt. How am I gonna keep track of kids? I was in VR. Like, speaking of, like, from Sir Dragon's Thingy-Madiggy, the Zeebs does VR. Yes! Twice now on a Saturday, I have mentioned that I've joined in on, like, unnamed and solos, VR, hangout streams and such. Or, not streams, but just hangouts in VR. They're not streamed or anything like that. I'm not going to be doing, like, VR streams anytime soon, because, you know, it's exhausting being in VR. I can last, like, 50 minutes to an hour in VR, and that's it. You can't have me for longer than that. It's not doable. It's not possible. But, yeah, any whoosies. So, went through, like, meant to be doing, like, 2 liters of water a day or something like that, and I didn't really do that. Sorry, Miss Sonic. Coach shouldn't have used the voice for something as banal as you're not keeping track of the children, but the voice line thing, like, the voice command is available only to my moderators and myself. The reason, like, there was a time where I had it available to subscribers, but what would end up happening is that it would get spammed by the subscribers trying to get my attention, and then that would just make it that non-subscribers wouldn't chat in the streams. It was meant to come just after the sub emote. No, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. But, blah, 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 blah. Where's my brain? But yeah, so, I still have it, like, you know, just in case a moderator has to be like, you know, Grant's not paying attention or some of that nonsense like that, and instead has to be like, you know, like, hey, Grant, need you to do this thing, or hey, Grant, need you to be aware of this, so, but, yeah. So it's not, like, completely gone or anything like that. So, yeah. Got down to 104 kilos this morning, which was, yay, really great. I was so close to losing, like, 20 kilograms in 69 days. I've lost 19.8 kilograms in 69 days, so... No, I don't. There is no fly down. You can't prove it. So, yeah, so Sunday was a little bit of a cleanup of my office space. So one of the things that I was doing is, any advice for someone trying to lose weight? Talk to a dietitian. Nothing I say will be a proper recommendation for you trying to lose weight until you talk to a dietitian. The reason why I know this is because it wasn't until I talked to a dietitian for the things that were right for me. Because here's the thing, is that, like, you know, telling someone, oh, hey, just work out like an hour a day, 5 times a week or something like that, might work for some people, but it won't work for others. Hey, eat only lemons as your breakfast might work for some and not for others. For me, the way I went through it with the recommendation of a dietitian is that I have 3 of my meals in the day replaced with OptiFast or OptiSlim. I don't need the vegetables. I don't need like the teaspoon of like oil that they ask you to in like the little handbook guides from OptiSlim, OptiFast, because well, actually OptiSlim doesn't even have that little recommendation. It's only OptiFast that mentions the vegetables. But yeah, that's not a necessity. Like at least for me. But all of that is dependent on, you know, what your dietitian says, because your body doesn't work like everyone else's body. There's going to be some gimmicks where losing weight is going to be easier some ways than it is others. What about just some simple things that anyone can do? If it was simple that anyone could do it, there wouldn't be struggles in trying to lose weight. That's the honest thing. If everyone could do it, there would be no weight loss, like, you know, problems. I'm still having weight loss problems, personally speaking, as well. Because, you know, this today, after a day of, like, you know, I'm at work, I drink water, I drink my shake, and I have, like, 2 cans of Coke no sugar, and I come home, and it's like, oh, golly, instead of only putting on, like, half a kilo, I've put on, like, a kilo of, like, water weight or whatever the fuck has been in my body since yesterday and today. So, you know, it's like, it's not like there isn't like an easy way to do it. There isn't a simple thing that everyone can do, because unfortunately the simplest is the oversimplification, which is, you know, eat less or work out more than your base metabolic rate so you're on a deficit. That's it. That's the only advice people can give you. And then comes the very fun thing of, oh, okay, well, what deficit works for me? And it's like, well, I do not know. Also, hi there, Blighted Fading. Welcome to the stream. 7-foot tall vamp, once again invading the stream. Ooh, spooky. I can almost reach the ceiling because it's still Macro March. So thanks to the subscribe from Code the Yoshi for continuing on for like 42 months straight. Like 42, they've now been subscribed to me for 42 months. Yay for them. I am now like 2 point something meters or something. Hang on a second. Where is it? 2.34 meters. There it is. I am currently 2.3 meters tall. If you ever... It was the Ides of March yesterday. The what of what? Why do people distract me? You get me trying to go on a rant. The Ides of March. Day of the Roman calendar marked as the Ides, roughly the midpoint of a month. Corresponds to the 15th of March on the Gregorian calendar. It's marked for, like, various... Okay, so... The Ides of March refers to a date in the ancient Roman calendar known for the assassination of Julius Caesar, popularized by Shakespeare's play of Julius Caesar, with the famous line, "Beware the Ides of March." Oh. No, Masonic is not kidding. It's just one of those cases of like, oh hey, the Ides of March. I'm gonna be real with you. That is not in the regular zeitgeist for people caring. It's not in my little thingy-majiggy of people caring. I'm gonna be real with you. On Saturday... Cool! I was streaming Saturday. You could have mentioned it then. And there would be like a little more relevance to, oh hey, happy March 15th, it's the Ides of March. More people are aware of Mario Day, March 10th, than they are of the Ides of March. I just thought it was interesting. I should remember that you are interested in ancient things. You are interested in Crusades, the Holy Roman Empire, or not the Holy Roman Empire, just the Roman Empire. You're interested in old things. You're an old soul. Anyway, how am I doing today, Blighted Fading? I am doing fair. I'm doing meh. I'm sleepy. I've put on like a kilogram from the start of the day at 104 kilograms. to now at like 105 kilograms, which is a little bit annoying. So no doubt, I'm gonna go to sleep tonight, and instead of staying at like 104, 104.2 kilograms, somewhere around there, I'm instead gonna be at something really disastrous, like 104.5, or worse yet, 104.8 or something crazy. I really just want to get under 100 kilograms at this point. I was so close to just, you know, having junk food Sunday afternoon after cleaning out my, office, trying to find some extra arms for the extra nonsense that's on the front of my screen. Like, hang on a second. Ding. Dong. There we go. So, because before, the way I had my arms set up, I used to have the iPhone set in front of the monitor, so if I had it like too low, there would be a gap of the monitor I could not see because the phone was in the way. I've now found the additional thingamajiggies. Oh, hello, Eviscerator. Hi there, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing all right. But yeah, I've found like the extra Elgato like mount arms and such. So then that way I'm able to have the iPhone instead of sitting that's tracking my face and what have you, so you can see all this nonsense. So you see all this nonsense, and instead of having the camera in front of the monitor and blocking a little bit of my view, it's now behind the monitor. So yeah, it only took me, like, cleaning out my office, like, closet, like, getting rid of 2 or 3 boxes and consolidating a few more, and then I went back to, like, the drawers that I have under my console, which was, like, the first place I checked. I went into that thing again, and guess what I found? Blah, 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 blah. I found the, Elgato mount arm, so the first place I looked, I was somehow blind to it. So, shit happens. But hey, I fixed the mounts, or I've come up with a better mounting solution, so got that going for me, which is rather nice. Alrighty, let me go and get Okami up and running. So, cause yeah, I've tuckered myself out in talks and what have you. If you are curious as to why I'm a little bit bigger, it's because it's Macro March. And the last few streams have been fairly alright. I have not currently, I am not outpacing, last year's Macro March, I will be real with you. A part of me feels like I maybe should have made a thing of, I probably should have tried something with, having it so that, like, likes and retweets of the posts and maybe even coffees would help encourage the, the whole, like, doing the, whatsamahoozy thing, but, yeah, no, I didn't think that through. Alright, how do I... Nope, it's not options. Hang on. Is options where I go for the controller settings? No, it is not. Alright, I'm gonna need to... I'm gonna need to exit the game and start it again. So, backspace, quit game, yes. So I'm gonna need to start this program again while the controller is plugged in, otherwise it doesn't detect it and such. 28% himbo and only 12% bimbo. Look, like, this is what happens when you're doubling up on trying to get, like, bimbo and himbo ratings, okay? Aggressive chatting. Okami is good times? Okami is good times. I've put in apparently 32 hours into this game, and I've been enjoying it. It's why I'm gonna make it, like, a thing for, like, this week. I'm just gonna be playing Okami Monday and Wednesday. I'm not too sure if I am, if I'm gonna, like, get it done by Wednesday. Who knows? But, you know, it's worth trying. Also, hands. Come on. There we go. Alright, is the thingy-majiggy working? Yes, it is. Awesome. Cool. Alright, we're gonna start the Okami. And it won't let me pause the music. Because apparently... There we go. Alright, We're in Yoshpet right now. We're in the forest place. You haven't played it in forever, but I remember it feeling like it had 9 different great endpoints. I don't know how many endpoints it is. I'm just trying to get through the game as I am. I'm just trying to do my best. But yeah. The Spirit Gate. Nobody knows when it was built or even who built it. All we know is that it's been here since the age of myths. And that's a whole lot older than even Old Man Ishaku. The Punkle Chief's clan has served as its gatekeepers for generations. It's said that needlessly opening this gate only invites disaster. But I have no idea what kind of disaster it might be. I'm gonna force this gate open, after all. We have no other choice. If Laika's on the other side of this thing... Stand back, Amy. Tiny man making a long slash. Let's see how it goes. Also, hands. So yeah. When I'm made bigger, it's even more obvious when I'm like, you know, when my hands are holding the controller. I wish that like the leap motion would detect the fact that I'm holding a controller and would just be like, yep, let's just lock in like this, but it doesn't let me. Boy, old man Ishaku would have had my head if he knew what I just did. Let's just keep this between you and me, Amy. Just look at that light. Looks way too pretty to be anything that invites misfortune. What are you looking at, Furball? The door's open, ain't it? Do you have the guts to go on through it? Ow. God damn you, Sir Dragon. More so, I do a thing, feel like I'm playing an entire game's worth, reach a satisfying endpoint, and the game goes, but wait, there's a... Oh yeah, that happened to me when I had to deal with Orochi. Like, I defeated Orochi, and I was just like, wait, there's more? So, yeah. So, I'm learning that, like, apparently there was, like, major dungeons and such like that, and I only went through one of them to get to Orochi, so then I've gone through another one for the Great Dragon Thingy-Majiggy, which wasn't really a fight. So that led me to the Ninetales. So now this is leading up to another major dungeon, I think, where we're going to be dealing with another major threat or something. Either way, I should go find what platform I own it on and play it again. Maybe. Maybe. Or you stick around while I play through this. Could be good. Keep me company. If you turn back now after all I've been through, I swear I'll... Huh? Okay. Oh, hey, it's the, pig face, dude. Hello again, Isun. And Amaterasu, was it? I thought I'd come and join the fun. I've never seen the Spirit Gate open before. They say opening it only invites disaster. What are you doing here anyway? And how the heck did you get this far into Yoshpet to begin with? Ah, you must be talking about this forest's power to confuse beasts. Indeed, we half-men, half-beasts Oana should feel the effects. But it seems the sacred sword Kutone has kept me safe. This is no surprise, as the sword itself has driven me here. The wall of ice shall shatter and open the way to the heavens when Kutone glows silver. As the prophecy foretells, when Kutone starts glowing, it is a sign that the demons shall soon fall. Good work on the himbo rating, by the by, Xerix. What's more, some say that even the heavens will be within reach. What the heck's that supposed to mean? Anyway, it hasn't even begun to glow. I must not have slain nearly enough monsters yet. If that's the case, this Spirit Gate should be just the thing. I'll give those monsters of misfortune a chase of Kutone. Look at this Zuko motherfucker. Okay, wait! We have no idea what's on the other side of this thing. All we know is Laika somehow ended up going through it. I guarantee you're gonna find more than you bargained for in there. That's what I'm hoping for the sake of Kotone. Yep, okay, are we gonna go after him? Yep, it looks like we're gonna go after him. No, wait, Amy, maybe this isn't such a good idea. In we go. Kind of bright, but I like that it's closing the door at this point. You're gonna go sleep now, you have fun? Not to worry, thank you so much for the raid, Eviscerator, I greatly appreciate it. I hope you had a wonderful time. I guess we're now in the spirit realm of something. This doesn't look so bad. What was all that talk about the spirit gate and misfortune? Hey, this place looks familiar. Wait a minute, yeah, it does. It's the village we were in earlier. It looks like the Kamiki village. Kamiki? You mean that tiny village in Shinshu Field? That's where the whole legend of Orochi began. I've never crossed the sea and set foot on Nippon before. The divine guidance of Kotone must have led me here. The monsters of this land shall now taste its cold steel. No, okay, wait! What about Laika? He's gone. Oh well. Anyway, this really is Kamiki Village, isn't it? But I'm getting a different vibe from here. That's strange. Why is there a full moon again already? Huh.
Bigger.
Oh! Sir Dragon, thank you for the 3 gifted subs! Congratulations, Omega. Joe couldn't think of a name, and Kobolfon. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. You don't have to deal with any kind of advertisement that go off on my streams. I will normally do, you know, mid-roll advertisements, and you get to utilize all of these cool emotes. Monster Hunter Wilds was good times. Hope you have fun with Okami now. Not to worry, Eviscerator. I have Monster Hunter Wilds myself. I've been playing a little bit off-stream. Kind of fun. Can't lie. Pretty good ton. So yeah. Found that you owned it on Xbox and you haven't played that version yet, so time to 100% it again. Oh my god. This is where Sakya's tree was. What's this dinky little seedling doing here? This should just, you know... Huh. It won't do its thing. Okay. But yeah, thank you for the 3 gifted subs. I've grown even bigger now. I am now 3 meters tall. This is a good thing, because now when people do, like, the hyper... So, for those of you that may not understand the math that I'm using for this macro march thing, I'm not using, like, you know, generic things of, like, oh, a sub increases by 1 meter or anything like that. What I have actually been doing is I've been increasing the size of the zebra by 1.1. And then, like, if you have, like, multiple iterations and such like that, it's, like, 1.1 to the power of, like, n, which n is, like, the number of gifted subs, or however many times, you know, 500 bits goes into the cheer that you've done. Now, because, and it's all being, you know, applied to, like, my height, which before, it was, like, 2.13. So it'd go, like, 2.3, and then the next time would be, like, 2... It'd go like 2.5 and da-da-da. Now it's 3.1, which means that the next time I grow, I'll be up to 3.4 meters tall. And then you do it again, puts me to 3.7, and then again puts me to 4, which means the next time will be 0.4. So it's slow going at the start, but that's kind of the point. So then that way, whenever there's like a huge amount of gift subs or cheers that are done within the one stream, it can get to, like, you know, kind of crazy numbers if we accomplish this. So, who knows? Wait a second. You're some kind of god, aren't you? I'm a wood sprite. They call me Sakuya. Oh, she is really young. What the fuck? What did she say her name is? Shakuya? Sounds kind of familiar. Anyway, where the hell's Sakuya's tree? Sakuya? That's me! Yeah, we already know already, kiddo. We grown-ups are busy right now. Why don't you go off and play? Excuse me, God. Are you looking for me? Did you say God? I guess the innocent eyes of a child can see the truth, Amy. Alma? Alma, Mr. Bug, and me, Sakuya. Let's be friends, okay? Mr. Bug? Better watch it, kiddo. Cookie for Luna. Here's your cookie, Luna. It's been a while. Welcome to the stream. Happy Macro March. When did you get to Kamiya Village? I knew it. We are in Kamiki. We'd better have a look around, Furball. Alright, so we've talked to them. We can't make that tree bigger because it's just, you know, forever nighttime in this spirit realm. And my hand tracking isn't going perfect while I'm holding a controller, which is unfortunate. Cookie for Bestest Boy! Hi, Bestest Boy! Happy Macro March. I hope you're doing alright. Ding, dong. And then ding, ding, ding. And then ding, 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 ding. And then there we go. I love that I have like a little attachment now that's just gonna, you know, instantly grab it's just gonna grab anything around me. More Okami? More Okami. I have not yet finished Okami, so we're gonna be going through Okami tonight and Wednesday night. So we're gonna see how we do. I pray for your swift growth, Konohana! What do you want with us? Hey, Gramps, still tearing up the dance floor, I see. So what happened to the sacred tree? Got so small all of a sudden. Someone put a curse on it, or what? What are you talking about, you fool? I'm lovingly raising this seedling to bring peace to the land. It shall drive away Orochi and all of his minions. Orochi? Where the heck have you been, Gramps? That sneaky snake's pushing up daisies right about now. I don't have time for this nonsense, you fool. Year after year, you come to our village to claim the sacrifice, and this time you even learn to speak. Well, today's the day I shall say enough is enough. Wow, settle down there, Gramps. We don't want you throwing your back out or anything. Silence, you foul beast. Today's the day I say enough is enough. Okay, so no point in continuing to talk to them. Let me jump off. Thank you. Alrighty. Dink. And then donk. Doing all this to try and get more praise. Because once I have enough praise, I'll probably just do another astral pouch thingy-madiggy. Yeah. Thanks for the... Oh, yeah! Hi there, Joe! Welcome to the stream. Yeah, Sir Dragon gifted a sub, and because it's Macro March, I grew a little bit bigger. I'm gonna grow bigger if anyone does gifted subs, resubs, or gift bombs, or if they donate, like, you know, 500 bits. There's always the classic Hyper Himbo redeem that you'll find in the channel thingamajiggy as well, so there's always that. Just gonna dig up all this shit again. Good. Dunk. Do I get something for digging all these up? Hopefully I do. Looks like one more and then we're good. But yeah. How's my day been? It's been alright. You don't fool me, you dumb wolf, pretending to be sniffing around for a sacrifice for Orochi. Oh, okay, so this is not important. Who dis? Hey, you're Shiranui! We don't need any of Orochi's familiars around here. Shiranui? Orochi's familiar? Does that have something to do with our saying Orochi? Well, you're gonna have to wait in line for an autograph. Shut up! The only one who's gonna get slain is you, you monster! Monster? What's got into you, Mushi? Oh. Alright, who's this? Hey, sweetie, how you doing? I hope you can cut that Sasuno some slack. He's so shy that... What was that all about? Alright, what's this lady want? Ooh, hello, there's another tree I can do the thingy-majiggy to. There we go. Thank you for the thingy. Tonight's the night of the full moon. Alright, so nothing important with you. But yeah, so the day has been fairly alright. I was down at 104 kilograms this morning, which was really good. But I've gone up to like 105 this evening, so there's like quite a bit of water weight on me. But the thing is that I'm also a little bit sleepy. Like, this is the fun thing of when you're trying to lose weight, but you're also, you know, trying not to eat as much, is that you will have days where it's like, yeah, I kind of just, you know, don't want to do anything. And, like, you know, not eat. And it's like, if you want to, like, try and have energy even to be lazy, it's like, well, I can't eat food because, you know, trying to lose weight and shit. Oh, who the fuck is this guy? Hi, I'm the greatest. Pops hasn't changed a bit. Right. Oh, nice. Cool, I don't need to... I forgot, I can just walk along this thing now. Because I've done the, I've got the charm that makes it so that I walk along water instead. Like, look at this. Oh, hello. Dig you up. Bonk. And we get ourselves a pearl. Nice. And then... Bonk. It's great they were able to, like, run along water. I remember this was, like, a problem in the past. Wait, do I need to talk to him again? There we go. What the? Huh? No problem, Joe. I make it. Ah, I slept like a log. I must have dozed off while training to defeat that no-good Shiranui. Hmm? Who are you? What do you want with me? I'm Nagi, the greatest warrior ever. Wait a minute. You're... Shiranui? You still dreaming or something, Pops? I mean, greatest warrior ever? Give me a break. You brought along a little pea-sized monster this time? Well, I have you now, Shiranui, you monster. Monster? Come on, Pops, wake up. You must still be dreaming. And what's with this Shiranui business? You still obsessed with the past? The past? Stop speaking nonsense. Look at that moon. Tonight is the night when the moon waxes to its fullest. It marks the day when Orochi shall claim his human sacrifice. Orochi? Okay, so I'm guessing the spirit gate must have, like, taken us to the past or something like that. Wait a second. What the heck's going on? This sinister air. That jerk Orochi must be stirring. How's that possible? Too late to feign innocence, Shiranui. We know you come here each year to seize up Orochi's human sacrifice. But this time, things are going to be different. I, Nagi, shall put an end to your devilish work. Orochi? Nagi? No, it can't be. Right, Amy, I mean, the Spirit Gate couldn't have possibly sent us back to Kamiki Village 100 years in the past, could it? Alright. Oh. There we go. Did it. Uh-oh. You knocked him out cold! I wonder what's going on. I mean, he keeps calling himself Nagi. I thought he was Sasuno. And again, he looks just like the statue of Nagi in the village. That vibe in the village and the villagers' reaction. I'm gonna take the wild guess that it is 100 years in the past. And now this big old full moon. Now I'm positive. We really did go back to Kamiki Village 100 years in the past. I get it now. Everybody thought Shiranui came to the village before the festival to seize up the next sacrifice. They thought Shiranui was Orochi's familiar or something. So that's why he called you Shiranui and wanted to fight you. Hey, wait a second. Where's the real Shiranui then? Uh-oh. I have a bad feeling about this. I just hope us our coming here hasn't totally messed up history. Huh? Look! The villagers are all gathering up in front of his house. Nagi! Please come out! We need your help! Shiranui once again roams our village! Hi there, VTuber fan! Welcome to the stream! It's been a while. Welcome, welcome! How's it going? How's Rakigaku going? They doing good? Shiranui once again roams our village. It seeks to seize up Orochi's next victim. The moon is at its fullest tonight, and the dreaded Orochi. Hello. Man, these cutscenes are a little bit long. Rawr. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, those are the 8 elements. Representing, like, the 8 heads of Orochi. You doing good, VTuber? Oh, and there's the arrow. Who is it going to? Once again, going to the Sakebaro. The accursed arrow has marked the home of the chosen maiden. This will be the 100th maiden since this terrible rite begun. Must our village suffer such tragedy yet again? Poor Nami, to think we'd end up having to send you to that beast. You doing alright? Gak is doing well from what you hear. Rough weekend, but doing well. You're just browsing Twitch before bed. Hope you're doing well yourself. I'm doing fairly alright. I'm appreciating those who are able to stop by, say hi, and hang out in the stream. I am currently, I'm trying to lose weight, and in the last 69 days, I've lost, like, 18 to 19 kilograms. I was so close to losing 20 kilograms this morning, but I was only down 19.8, so, still doing well. I've still got a ways to go in terms of weight loss, because I personally want to get under 100 kilograms before April, which frankly is starting to feel a little bit, down to the wire trickier, because, I'm like 4 kilograms away, and I'm not having weeks where I'm like losing 2 kilograms a week. It's not happening, and the only other way I can imagine doing that is if I have way more days where I'm doing like walking and exercise, which, like, a part of me is like, can I do it? A part of me kind of doesn't want to try to do it. Like, it's all up in the air, because the thing is that I could put a little more focus in, healthier, like, lifestyle and, like, healthier, like, trying to do exercise at the end of my day rather than going straight into streaming. But I also don't want to, like, especially since I'm doing a Macro March thing, I don't want to just, like, stop streaming during the month of Macro March, because, I put in, like, this incentive of, like, oh, hey, you can make the Zeebs bigger by doing these things. And I don't want to be like, oh, while that incentive is going off, I'm not going to be streaming for the next little while. Ta-ta. Like, I don't want to do that. So, yeah. I believe in you, Nagi. You have trained long and hard to slay the dreaded Orochi. I shall not lose faith. I'm not afraid to face Orochi in the Moon Cave. I know you will put an end to Orochi and this dreadful rite. I'm going to go change into the white sacrificial robe. Please, everyone, go hide in your homes. It is not safe out here. So yeah, maybe I'll do an adjustment or something where instead of making it like explicitly subs and bits to do the hyper himbo growth, or sorry, not the macro March growth, I might do like a separate announcement of like, oh hey, for trying to exercise and do better and what have you, I'm gonna be changing, you're gonna be able to make GrantZeebs grow instead of going like, however many times in the given like week or something like that. We're instead gonna do like likes, retweets, and coffees to denote like the size increase. So we'll make it like, likes will do like, likes and retweets are like, 10 centimeters or something like that. Meanwhile, coffees are like $1 a meter or something crazy like that. Bah, that Orochi. I'm sick of him and his antics. Hey, wait. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea knocking Nagi out like that. I mean, what about the legend? The legend says Nagi disguised himself as the maiden to be sacrificed and then slew the dreaded Orochi. But how's he gonna do that if he's out cold right here? This is gonna change history itself. What are we gonna do? We'll have to look for Laika later. We gotta think of something quick. Well, I guess we should make sure things go just like in the legend. That means we'll have to dress Nagi up like a maiden. Now then, where to begin? Oh, I know. Nami said he was gonna go change into a white sacrificial robe. We gotta swipe that robe and put it on Nagi, then get him over to Orochi's place. That would more or less fulfill the legend. At least I hope it will. Anyway, we better hurry before Nami takes off. Let's go swipe that white sacrificial robe. Alrighty. Zoom. Oh, hello, there's another chest. Hold on a second. Look at that, Amy. That's Nami. Boobs! Chat! Boobs! Enhance. Enhance. Boobs! as you can see, I am using the camera features of my scene very appropriately here. Love how Twitch buffered. Ow! You love how Twitch buffered as I zoomed in? Yeah, there was just so much action going off. It was like, oh, we got a buffer. She's bathing in the lake. And look, the white sacrificial robes. They're there for the taking. Hey, what's with the glowing barrel of sake? You think it could be the 8th purification sake? Keep it down, Faribault. Naomi must be purifying herself before putting on the robe. Pretty noble of her, considering Orochi's gonna gobble her up. I bet it's her devotion that made the legendary 8 purification sake. If I could just get an up-close view of her like this, I'd... Anyway, this is our chance, Amy. Let's snag her white sacrificial robe while she's busy bathing. You ready? Oh. Sure, we're prowling around the village again. Okay, so we can't... Alright. What the heck was that, numbskull? You gotta be more careful. You gotta walk up slowly and silently. Then, once you're close enough, snatch those robes. Oh, okay, we can't do it, like... We can't slow down time. There's so much... There we go. Just push the joystick very slowly. And then we bite that. Way to go, Amy! The white sacrificial robe is ours. Now let's go get that Nagi into this thing. Donk. Alrighty. Isun, yeah, well here's the thing. Isun will never take responsibility. Isun is just a narrator. Okay, we got the robe. Now all we gotta do is get Pops here into it. Doesn't he look pretty? Now Nagi can pretend to be the maiden sent to be sacrificed. This should be just like the legend said. Right, Amy? Not bad if I say so myself. Anyway, let's get on with it. Let's take him over to the moon cave before he wakes up. After all, he's all dressed up for his date with Destiny. Nice. Alrighty. Dun, 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 dun. Twitch couldn't handle the pixelated boob. Yeah, most likely they couldn't handle the pixelated boobie. Shame. So, this is at Shinshu Field 100 years ago. Hey, you've given a piggyback ride to the moon cave before, but it was that babe Kushi last time. The view, not to mention smell, was a lot better then. I'm not sure I'm liking this whole going back to the past business. Oh, hello. Yes, I'm doing this to get the praise. And then... There we go. Alrighty. Here we go. The fuck is that? Some weird flute fella. That aside, that all makes sense. Definitely hard juggling stream and IRL, so to respect that your weight loss journey. Good luck with it, and I've been hardcore slacking on going to the gym. Look, understandable. Thank you so much for the praise, though. I do appreciate it. There we go. Dun 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 dun. Alrighty. So the moon thingy-majiggy is not here. The fuck is this? A silver pocket watch. Okay, that's not where we need to go. Oh, we need to go this way, actually. There we go. Da-da-da-da-dun. Alright. Alright. So we're going this a ways to the moon cave. I wonder if the Orochi fight is going to be the exact same as, like, the fight at the start of the game, where it's, like, the 8 heads, and we gotta dodge the elements and get it, like, you know, shooting water into its mouth because of, like, the 8 purification sake and shit. Also, why do I smell Hang on a sec. I need to check something. I can smell candle wax. There shouldn't be, like, hang on a second. Oh, no, wrong button. I'm just gonna run on a quick 30-second advertisement. So then hopefully that, like, you know, interrupts the ad break a little bit while I'm investigating the, because I need to find out, like, is there a candle burning in this apartment? Nope, okay, it's just the hot air from my computer. Never mind. It's not explicitly candle wax, it's just, you know, hot air from the PC. I don't really have a way of, like, it's Australia, alright? Like, there isn't gonna be a really good way to do, like, there isn't gonna be, like, a really good way to avoid, hot air, like, being blown from a PC while you're in a hot environment. Alright, there we go. Alright. So, I need 400 to fill any of these 2 things. I'm probably gonna fill the astral pouch first. Alright. Dink. We're gonna bring him with us. And then... You know what? I'm gonna save it here, just in case. Did you hear about the American woman stealing a wombat from its own mother? That is quite old news, Alpha Wolf, but it's one of those cases of it's a sensationalization of, like, cause, like, oh, it's an American woman with a large, like, TikTok following, and everyone that was her fan were like, don't do that. That was a cruel idea. In which case, Australia, having nothing going for it other than, you know, the cyclone a few weeks back and a federal election at some point in the future, thought that they would put some time into the whole, the whatsamahoozy thingamadiggy. So, yeah, it's... What in the world? Interesting that I got, like, so many wolf fangs then. But yeah. Still, I feel like the majority of the places hate how many Americans act that stupid. Rightfully so, though. Oh, it's absolutely disrespect. Like, it's not a good move. And it doesn't help that it was, like, you know, a woman trying to be popular on, like, TikTok and shit by taking the wombat and nonsense. Like, there are dumb Australians that would do that, but they wouldn't be dumb enough as to record themselves doing it. There are plenty of Australians that, if they ever have to deal with a wombat or what do you call them? Not a wombat, the other thing. Possums. Wombats and possums, they will displace those if they are fucking up their gardens and shit. They'll just be like, right, I'm taking you and I'm moving you 500 meters in this direction so I don't have to deal with you. Fuck off. Like, there are those that are like that. It is, but yeah, once again, the news going on about that, like, going upon that woman stealing the wombat, like, I'm sorry, like, what the fuck, Australia? You probably have more critical things to report on in the news than just, here is a dumb tourist taking a wild animal. You have better things to do in the news, Australia, and you owe it to the Australians, okay? Have a fucking segment about global warming. Have a segment about the immigration policies that are going off. Have some critical, like, discussions and, you know, chasing after politicians about what is their plan for the Australians leading up to the federal election. Because guess what? He's gonna have to call it at some point. He can't just keep pushing it off forever and ever and ever. We are going to need to vote either in April or May. And there is going to be questions. We can start asking those now. And if we're asking these now, sure, he's going to be a little bit embarrassed, but guess what? That's a lot better than wasting our time with an American woman just has picked up a wildlife. Every Australian watching this channel understands that is a terrible move, whether or not the thing will eat you. That Orochi must think no one would dare come in here. We should still be careful no matter how unprepared that snake is. I mean, if you think about it, you managed to slay Orochi 100 years ago, but you died too, and you were at your peak back then. Legend says you appeared each year around the time of the sacrifice. Back then, you were called Shiranui, and we were said to be a monster. So, how come you didn't just go get rid of Orochi right away? Well, I suppose you had your reasons, but I bet it made Orochi think you were a big fat chicken. Oh, he's woken up. Hello, mister. Huh? Where am I? What in the world? Why am I wearing this?
Hey, Bobs, you finally came to. Now you can pretend to be the human sacrifice and slay Orochi. Then Nami will fall for you big time.
What? What are you talking about? Oh, yes, of course. I am Nagi, the greatest warrior who ever lived. Uh-oh. Alright, we got business to do.
Brace yourselves, Amy. Here it comes.
The Wombat news was better than hearing about Trump again. While true, there is more to the news than the United States. That's what I'm getting at. There's more news that Australia could be picking up on than just, oh, an American has done this. My issue isn't isn't the fact of like, oh, we're reporting on like, you know, Donald Trump. The issue is that we're reporting on Americans doing dumb things instead of Australians doing dumb things. There isn't like, you know, scathing remarks about Clive Palmer in the news. There isn't like any sort of pursuit of journalism on fucking what's his name? Not Albanese, the other guy, the competition. Baldy. I think he's bald. No, is he bald? Yes, he is bald. I forgot his name. But that's my point. The point is that Australians can do better than just Peter Dutton. Thank you. They could be like chasing after Peter Dutton. Instead, what is it that catches on to Australians' attention? An American. Like, come on. Really? You're just gonna sit there and just accept that, oh, anything newsworthy is going to involve an American. Come on. Looks like Orochi can taste the difference between man and maiden. Well, this is it, Amy. Psych yourself up. We're about to face Orochi in peak condition. I guess we're facing off against Orochi in peak condition, as they say. So, yeah. They could be talking about the efforts of, like, recovery after ex-Cyclone Alfred. There's all sorts of things they could be talking about in the news.
Look, Amy! The sake barrel!
8 purification sake.
Too bad Orochi didn't drink it down when he tried to eat Pops, but I guess things are never that easy. Still, it ain't over till it's over. I mean, victory is still up for grabs, ain't it?
I reckon Oki is gonna pop up during all this, and they're gonna, like, swing their sword around and shit. Peter's hasn't done anything stupid lately to any vegans, so wombat news. God damn it, Peter.
Hey, isn't that... Okay.
An evil power lured me to this cave, and now that you're also here, there can be no doubt. This must be Orochi's stronghold. Excuse me. Who the Oh, that's, you know, what's a Mahuzi?
Amy, there's someone passed out over there. Oh no, it's Laika.
Alrighty. It's Orochi! Once again. So this is the dreaded Orochi?
Amy, this time's the real deal. Remember, you just barely managed to slay Orochi at your peak. And in the end, you died too.
Fools! How dare you stand in my way? I shall claim my 100th sacrifice and become god of the underworld. Then I shall bring eternal darkness upon all the land. But first, you shall pay for defiling my dark sanctuary. I am a stranger to these lands. Your words mean nothing to me. Now, Katone shall feast on your blood. That should be more than enough to fulfill its need.
No, Aoki, wait! Laika's on Orochi's back!
I care not, for Orochi will be my ultimate offering to the sacred sword. Kutone will devour the beast down to the very arrow in the bones.
Hey! This is bad! The sake's not even ready yet!
Yep, there we go. Drink it. Come on. There we go. Dink, donk. We just need to do this like 1 or 2 times. We're getting the monster drunk on Monster Energy drink. God, imagine if we introduced Monster Energy drink in like really early eras. Alright, drink number 1.
Did you see it?
What did I miss? Alpha, you're gonna need to like... There we go. Destroyed the bell just in time. There we go. So that's them drunk. Ah, damn it. Not in time. There we go. Alright, so that's 1. So that's a swipe there. Come on. 2, 3, 4, 5. Your eyes! There we go. Alright, so that's the trick, is we need to do like 4 slashes. There we go. That gets you drunk. Alright. So, ding. Give us more time. There we go. Alrighty. Alright, you know what I'm gonna do? I am going to use the Inkfinity at this point. Bonk. There we go. Dink. There we go. So I need to avoid the lightning. Oh, does it do more damage when I do bigger swipes, I wonder? Oh, can't see shit. Oh, I've lost out on my, what's-my-hoozy, so I'm gonna need to be mindful about all that. There we go. Alright, 2 left. Here we go. Ah, damn it, I didn't get it in time. Shit. Alrighty, and then... There we go. Alright, so longer swipes means more damage from the looks of it. Go. There we go. That's all of them. Yes! It's getting drunk. Yeah, it was getting drunk, and we were helping getting it drunk, and we defeated it. Oh, Oki's gonna do the final blow, is it?
Get out of the way!
Silence. Kutone, awaken! The time has come to glow silver. Grant me the power of the heavens. What the?
Okay!
I don't understand. Why won't Kutone awaken? Why, Kutone? Why? Hold it right there, vile serpent. Oh, it's Nagi! And he's still in a dress.
Amy! Is that who I think it is?
Behold, Nagi, the greatest warrior who ever lived, and from this day forth, guardian deity of Kamaki village, hear me, vile serpent who would do violence upon the weak. Your time is up. Feel the wrath of my trusty sword. Oh, he fucked up. Shiranui, I don't know why you are here, but Orochi is mine. I shall slay the beast. The time has come. O great gods of the heavens, sweep away these dark clouds. Bear witness as the beast succumbs to my trusty sword, Boko Enenji.
Wait, this all sounds familiar. Oh yeah, the Legend of Nagi! His sword gained power over evil when the moon shined upon it. At least that's what they say.
Alright, we're gonna need to make a moon. The moon! His sword. It's... Hmm? What devilry is this? My sword, it suddenly blazed gold? It must be the heavens which aid me. I shall wield this divine gift with all my might. Nagi style, blade of truth. Good. Will. Never. Give. In. To. Evil. Now, for the ultimate in Nagi-style martial arts. Celestial Cleaver! Aw, that's cool. We didn't even have to do anything for that. Oh, and it, like, fucking cut the thingy-majiggy as well. Amazing. Oh, hey! A lightning sword. You've obtained the divine instrument, Thunder Edge. A glaive imbued with Thunder Spirit utilizes lightning power. And we were able to rescue Laika, so yay for us. The moment that the legend of Nagi was fulfilled. It was the most beautiful sight one could imagine. Bathed in moonlight, Nagi's sword twinkled, reflecting golden light. With Orochi's body cleaved, the beast was sealed for 100 years. The sword was dubbed Tsukiyomi and enshrined in the moon cave. Little Laika, the Oina girl who has been tainted by Orochi's dark power, had her curse lifted and returned to normal. However, one man, Oki, did not show such signs of recovery. Orochi's power had interfered with his most desperate attack. Despite the grave danger, Kotone did not exhibit the silver glow. Oki's heart burned at the thought of what Nagi's sword had wrought. Thoroughly humiliated and boiling with rage, he sulked away into the darkness, making sure that no one lay eyes upon him. Hey, and we got ourselves max rank. Yay. I was worried that we were taking too long with that one, but we did it. Yosh. Yosh! Wow, look at Nagi. I have slain the beast! I, Nagi, have defeated the dreaded Orochi! We know, we know. Now will you stop repeating yourself? I command your bravery, Shiranui. But it was I who felled the foul beast. Ah ha 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 ha. Yeah, whatever. Furball here did all the work. Anyway, where did Oki go? He left without a word. Well, at least we saved Laika. Uh-oh, that don't sound good. Hello? Hello? I've got a bad feeling about this. What's that Orochi up to now? I thought he was dead. Hey, Pops! You better get over here, quick! Uh-oh. Pops! Oh! there's a moonlight glow because Shiranui? Amy? Oh no, that's the legend. That's the Shiranui of their time. You saved my life. Hey, you guys! This battle is far from over. Now get out of here while you still have the chance.
Is that Old Man Ishaku?
Oh, that looks so fucking cool, though. They have a bigger fight ahead of us. Also, I'm guessing we have to run away at some point, so... Yep, we're running away. Come on, bug boy. We're going, Ishin. We're going! Run! You know, that wolf who helped Nagi, that was Shiranui. Or in other words, that was you, 100 years ago. That was how you met your end after you ventured with Gramps. You battled and slew the dreaded Orochi, only to die yourself. Ishun? Is that you? Laika? It's been ages. Too bad we had to meet like this. What made you go through the Spirit Gate anyway? Spirit Gate? What's that? All I remember is two owls appearing in a dream. They invited me to come play with them in the forest. Next thing I knew, I woke up there. Thank goodness you and your doggy came to save me. You had a dream about two owls? Aren't the guardian gods of Kamui owls? Why would the owls lead you here? Look, Amy, the sun! It's starting to wane! The day of darkness is about to begin! This day-long solar eclipse only happens once every 100 years! Day of darkness? What's that? It looks like something's taking a big bite out of the sun. Amy, you're the sun god. What's gonna happen to you if the sun disappears? Sun god? What's that? Laika! You can recite that volcanic incantation, can't you? It's supposed to make that frozen mountain Ezofuji erupt, right? Well, you better do it, cause Kamui's gonna freeze if you don't. Volcanic incantation? What's that? You mean that prayer we offer to the mountain by the lake? Yeah, I can mimic that prayer of Old Man Camus perfectly. He's even told me that I do it really well. I know. That's why we need your help back in the village. Let's go, Amy. Back to Webkir as fast as you can. Alright, we gotta get moving. Please don't tell me I have to go through this thingamadiggy fucking backwards. I have no fucking idea how to go through the confusing forest backwards. I do not have time for it. Although it looks like we're not getting the confusing forest segment, so... Oh, no! No! Alpha, what are you doing? Bleh. Why do you do this to me, Alpha? How have I harmed you? We gotta head to the village, which is... This isn't the time for that. let's get a move on. Awesome. We gotta get up to the village. Hopefully I'm going the right way. Alright. Oh, there's an advertisement going off. Should I wait for the advertisement to be done? Or should I wait for people to subscribe? It's only gotta go on for like a minute and a half, so thankfully it won't like take forever. Bum ba bum ba 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 bum ba bum ba 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 bum bum ba bum ba ba bum 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 ba bum ba 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 bum ba 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 bum ba 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 bum. Yeah, I'll wait. It's not a problem. I'll wait a little longer. Like, we got like what, 35 seconds? Plus I'll just have a short sip of water. So yeah. Everyone will get back shortly at some point, so also I should probably come up with like a do I recommend this game? Yes, I do. Public. Also, what the fuck is this hair? Like, Jesus Christ, the length of this guy is like super long. I do not remember having this kind of hair. Has someone been in my apartment while I was away, or did it just like blow in because of the wind? I hope it just blew in because of the wind. Sorry, I'm just writing like a little thingamadiggy. I cannot spell stylized for the life of me, however. No idea why. Unless does it... Fuck it. Ding dong. Now that's one nasty blizzard. It's blowing in from the rear of the village. Anyway, we gotta get Laika to the altar. We're almost to the edge of Laochi Lake. Alrighty, now, as far as I know, we need to be going... Okay, I guess we have to actually go up. I am a fool who does not know how to read a navigation. So... Nope, not that way. We gotta get there before the sun is eaten out. Should hopefully be this way. Alright, hopefully we're going the right way. Sheesh! What's up with this nasty blizzard? I mean, where the heck does this thing come from? Alright, hopefully... Huh? I thought everyone would be gathered at the altar.
But nobody's here, not even Old Man Camu or Samikul. We can't make Lika pray here all alone in this weather. Doggone it! Where the heck did everyone go? Ezo Fuji and the Ark of Yamato. They're both steeped in history. Sent shivers down my spine just looking at them. We need to... That don't matter. We need to do the thingy-majiggy. I don't think... Disrupt the foxes. They're just hiding in the snow right now. Come on, run faster, Amy! Yep, there's everyone. What's everyone doing here? Hey, I brought Laika, everyone. So what's up with this nasty blizzard? It's the Day of Darkness. This day comes once every 100 years. Now it's upon us. That's why the monsters are making the blizzard even fiercer. And Oki, how could he be so irresponsible at a time like this? He destroyed the gate here on his way to the Waoku Shrine. What? I tried to stop him, but he was waving the Katone sword about, and he was through the gate before I could do a thing. Now Kamui could freeze over whether the eclipse comes or not. Aoki suddenly disappeared after we defeated Orochi. Never thought he'd come here and do something like this. I bet he just wants to steal all the glory for himself. No, Oki's not like that. I understand why he took the divine Katone sword. He was trying to do what was right for the village. When the two demons got violent at the shrine of Ezofuji, it was Oki who came to Kamui's rescue. Huh? I thought Samiko was the one who saved Old Man Kemu. Oki acted as bait so that Kemu and Samiko could escape. They survived because Oki acted as their shield and fought for them. Oki is the strongest amongst us, but even so, he was no match for them. He was lucky to come home alive. Wow, that's quite a feat, surviving a battle against two demons. But he was angry that he couldn't defeat the demons, so he took the sword and left the village to fight again. I know it's unforgivable that he stole the sword like that, but he was just trying to do the right thing. All he cares about is doing what's best for the village. It wouldn't be long before the eclipse makes the sun disappear. If the volcanic incantation doesn't start, Ezofuji erupting Kamui will get colder until it freezes over completely. Please, Laika, we're relying on you to make this work. Oki always told me what kind of Oina he wanted me to become. He told me to be a good Oina and use my power to help everyone. Do you think he'll help everyone if I prayed like I always do? Who cares about this stupid blizzard? I'm gonna pray for our mountain and come back to life. That's my girl. Let's go, my little warrior. If you don't start the incantation soon, it will be too late. Alright, come on. Let's do the thing. The wall of ice just shot and opened the way to heavens. When legend has it, this is the power to ward off evil. That's why I left the village with it. He was going to use the sacred sword to fight the monsters alone. Yes, that is true. Can we go through here? We're gonna go through there. The ruins of this within Ezofuji. Okay, so... Okay, it was just to say to be extra careful. Alright. I thought we had to do, like, something, but I guess they're busy doing their, like, prayer and such. We gotta go help out Oki! And try not to die while we do so. Uh-oh. Now, those cannons look dangerous, so...
Wait a second. See those cannons over there? I'm not sure they're there to greet us. Let's take it slow and easy. There we go. Easy enough. Should have probably come to terms with that sooner. Treasure! Alright, give us the treasure. Give us the treasure. Yeah, treasure! Oh, it's just a stray bead. Okay. Cool. Thank you for the stray bead. It means nothing to me. Oh, what about you? Will you be good treasure? Nope, because you dig in the wrong spot. Here we go. A ruby tassels. Cool. So we'll be able to sell that for some good coin. Ow. Fuck you. Alright, I'm running, so we know what to draw on Zeebs. Ruby tassels. Sure. Also, hi there, Warhorse Indra. Welcome to the stream. What are these things? A houseplant here? Is this one of those demon tricks? On second thought, maybe it's just a plain old houseplant. Look how healthy it is. Somebody must be taking great care of it. Alrighty. Let's see what happens. Oh, we probably need to make it even. There we go. Evens. So now we should be able to roll the giant ice ball. I'm guessing that's the... Yep, that looks to be the gimmick. So, we roll the giant ice ball. Yep. There we go. I'm getting good at these puzzles, like seeing them at face value and whatnot. I could be pretty good at Zelda games, I reckon. Vengeance Slip! Yum. And then, obviously, I use... Oop. God damn it, ice! silly. Demon Eye. Get fucked. Alright, so now we're in. And right at the get-go, we're just gonna melt this, giving us... lovely spring pool, and... look at our little guy swimming. Thank you. No worries whatsoever. Okay, so... alright, oh, okay, hang on. It took me a while to learn that the cats don't need me to go just up. I can go, like, random directions and what have you. Alright, here we go, here we go. One Mississippi. Oop. Okay. Alright, so got that out of the way, I suppose. Alright, so that thing's gonna be spinning a lot. So we're gonna need to get as much, thank you for the etched glass. Oh, I guess I need to go through the hole in order to get back out. So... there we go. So then we head back over here, and we gotta do the cat wall thing again. There we go. All right. Where the fuck is that? There it is. There we go. And I think that's... I almost got stopped by a skull. That's kind of embarrassing. Okay, so that does that. And that's if I, you know, want to drop down, I suppose? Yeah, that's if I want to, like, drop all the way down, which... no thank you. We go through this thingy-majiggy. Those are flame spiders. They resemble a blocking spider or a platform. They burn you real good if you touch them. You might get hurt if you try to hitch a ride like you usually do. Oh, maybe... No. Okay, cool. So, we learned that, which means we have to go through the only other place, which is this location. Oh, Jesus. Well, that was uncalled for. And once again, I got blocked. So, do I have to like just use it multiple times? So I do like this big one here. God damn it. There we go. There we go. Giving ourselves sapphire tassels. Yay, another 4-leaf clover. Give it that. How's your day going, by the by, Warhorse? Is it like early days for you right now? There we go. And we don't really have a good way to deal with... Alright. Oh! We got a wind guy. Alright. So... Alright. Took some damage, but we got him. I wonder if we can do something about those poison pits. Oh. Amy, look! Check out this big contraption! It's got a nasty blizzard blowing right out of it. Can you believe those no-good demons? They're trying to turn Kamui into a giant ice cube with this thing. We gotta stop it now, Amy. Your technique should be up to the task. I mean, this contraption doesn't look all that complicated. No, it doesn't. And then... Okay, so... it's blowing wind. Alright. So it's blowing wind, and we can slow down the mechanics. Alright, let's see, let's see. Hey, Amy, check out this huge pattern carved on the floor. Yes, I can see the huge pattern carved on the floor, and I imagine with the right... Alright, so up, right, and left. There we go, giving us some fruits. Looks like an old pictograph or something. I know it takes loads of skill to convey meaning through art, but this pictograph takes that to a completely new level. Alright, so... Thank you for the hyper himbo there, Omega. I really appreciate it. Alright, so... Bigger!
Bigger. Bigger. Bigger.
I need like a...
Bigger.
Thank you.
Bigger.
Okay, so that's the tree.
Bigger. Bigger.
So...
Bigger. Bigger.
So it does, like, do the thingy-majiggy. Alright. Ding, donk.
Bigger.
Bigger! Almost there!
Bigger.
There we go. Look at that! Now I'm even bigger. Thank you for the hyper himbo. I greatly appreciate it. Alrighty, so... So, pausing is the stick. Nope. Nope. No. Oh, okay, okay, I see. So, 1. Ah, damn it. Okay, so I can use the lever to, like, catch them. I'm just gonna wait for, like, my inks to go back on. 12 biggers, not bad. Yeah, so the idea... So, actually, if it's 12, I should probably fix that. Because the idea is that it's supposed to be, like, you use, like, bigger, like, 10 times, and then it should, like, reset. So, it shouldn't be 12. It should be, like, you know, 10. Give me a second. Macro March. So while the value is less than 200, so it starts at, so the bigger redeem makes it so that while it's less than, it should, so does the so the extra himbo level is the hyper himbo level. The hyper himbo level increases by 10. And then extra himbo is based off the hyper himbo level. Should be like 190 instead. Maybe that's the trick. Yeah, maybe that's the trick. Export that macro March thing. So then that way I have it for later. Just so then that way I'm not like throwing it away. Stream resources. Where's my exports? Nope, it's not in that. It's not in my it's not in that folder. Vignon exports. There we go. Redeems. Vignon nodes. Where's Macro March? Oh, so which one's the most recent one? 2025. Okay, so these are all 2024s. So this one, yeah. All right, so Vignon, Macro March. There we go. Yes. Hopefully I didn't... Wait, did I actually export? Did I actually replace a thingy when I shouldn't have? Hang on. Vignon export. It's not here. Hang on. Vignon macro march.json. There we go. Now it should be good. Alright, so I guess, so 1, 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, god damn you. Alright, I'm just gonna let it rest for a little bit. You're out of the ads? Welcome back, Xerix. Welcome back from the ads. If you don't want to deal with advertisement, you could do a subscription. This was brought up recently to me, but how do you feel about the recent dungeon difficulty? What dungeon? Like this dungeon? Or are you talking about like a different dungeon in its entirety? There we go. Now that should block the what's-a-mahoozy. Final Fantasy XIV. Oh, I have not played the newest dungeons of Final Fantasy XIV. I have gone through the MSQ stuff, and I've gone through the Alliance raids and the normal raids, but I've not gone through like the chaotic raids, and I don't know what patch 7.2 is going to be like. And now we have a gourd? Is that what we've got? Look! I think it's here! That 13th and final brush technique you lost! We finally found it! 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, hang on. We need to wait for it to... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go! So no post-Dawn Trail stuff. I've gone through 7.1. I've not gone through 7.2, because 7.2 isn't out yet. But yeah, 7.1, like, the dungeons didn't seem, like, terrible to me. Oh, Amaterasu, origin of all that is good and mother to us all. In your absence, I took shelter here, only to become trapped. Beings of great evil defiled the world with impurity and darkness. Like a mighty snow flurry, I, Itagami, god of ice, have returned. I grant you the ability to freeze your foes to absolute zero. I am the last of the 13 gods you sought. You now possess the power to put an end to the evil forever. The 13th and final brush god is Itagami, the god of ice. You know what this means, Amy? You've now recovered all the brush techniques you lost. Whoa, check out Itagami, Amy.
The
fuck is going on now? Oh. Ooh! That looks new. That looks very different. Let's see. You have obtained the divine instrument, Solar Flare. For me, it was taxing since I went with Pictomancer. I fear for what Black Mages would have handled it. Yeah, fair enough. Well, I guess that's it. We found the long-awaited 13th and final technique. Itagami's Blizzard power can freeze any monster to the bone. A fitting power to top off the rest, like icing on a cake. Hey, check out that flame spider over there. It'll make a perfect first victim. Place your brush on the mass of ice to harness its power, then draw a line to the flame spider. Do that and the power of ice should rush into the brush. Go ahead, give that bone-chilling technique a try. Oh, hang on. Oh, I have to put it to like, there we go. Ah, that no-good flame spider's frozen solid. That's the power of Blizzard, the final brush technique. Well, the first order of business is getting out of here alive. I mean, what use will all the techniques be if I'm dead? Now, don't go do anything stupid and getting us all killed, Amy. There we go. Alright, so color me curious then. So where the fuck does... There we go, giving us the stray bead there. I was hoping for something else other than stray beads, but sure. No, no, fuck off. Alright. I thought I did the pause. You love the weapon I just got? Oh yeah, and it looks like it automatically equipped the Solar Flare. So, give me a second. I'm gonna use my tools to power up the Solar Flare, because I feel like it's appropriate to, you know, increase that one of all things. The Kudenari thingy-madiggies, cool. Alrighty. Oop. That was a quick one. Easy. I wasn't even paying attention to how much power that was. I just knew I did a lot of damage. Alright. Save the... Oh, there's 30 slots. You can only have 30 slots. Okay. Alright, I guess we can only have 30 slots maximum. We found our limits. Oh yeah, I should probably like read the book, the bestiary for. So those who opt to be buried with their lords in mourning, clay figures hold the spirits. Use god techniques quickly, dispatch and break the curse. Clay samurai. Break the weapon to undo the curse and save the warrior's thingy-madiggy. Bull chargers. With his ice spread, they're not stronger than anyone who fought. Only the best of the best can beat the thingy-majiggy. Here it is. The Tengu mass bird often hides itself and should be stopped before showing its true form. It trains with water and ice to grow strong. Okay. True Orochi. So that's Orochi. And then we got True Orochi with all the armor. We got Nagi. And Dogu. Of the odd clay figures, Dogu is the strangest, fascinating, originated. They appear to possess life and are known as protectors with bravery and love. So we got Waka. Why is there 2 Wakas? Yep, Golden Fury, I know about that one. Hardhead is to break things. Animal totems. So dogs, deers, raccoons. Bears, cows, cat, sheeps, and cranes. So many fucking fish. Alrighty, cool. And then we've got travel guides. Okay, then. And I don't yet have the praise for what I want, so... moving forward. Alright, we got way more of these spiders. I wish the spiders would move after I freeze them, but, you know, it is what it is. Okay, I'm guessing I wasn't meant to be all the way up here. Which is kind of funny, to be real with you. Alright, so there's that. Beautiful. And then... Okay, double jumping is very useful. Alright, another technique. Oop. Grab all these things, because I can! Alright, so we got all these wheels. Oh, and I fell to my death. So that was not my intention. Ow, I didn't even... Ah, fuck. Alright. There we go. A map of the shrine. Excellent. Break
Bigger.
you.
88 paid me to say.
Thank you for the 200 bits, Sir Dragon. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. I don't know why my bits are doing the exclamation point bigger. I thought I... Like, actually, I'm gonna need to check that now. No! Give me a second. I'm gonna need to double check the macro march and see whether or not it's doing... So, we got the unison code. Getting the value and execute... Oh, okay. So, I still have it playing the random sound. I have it playing the random sound at the start. So, what I'll probably need to do is I'll need to move that into... Alright, so... So I need to make it so that... Yeah, okay, so if... So I need to do a, if, So if growth count is greater than 0... Opening bracket, paste the thingy-majiggy, format the document just so then that way it's not as crazy. Compile. The growth count does not exist in this context. Is it because I didn't compile? There we go. Save and compile. Alright. Oh, wait, no, I need to put that in everywhere else. Sorry, I just realized what I needed to do. Alright, so... Alright, so we've done the... calculation of bits. So now it is the... ding random sound. So we do it there. And then we'll do it again there. And then we do it again there. Compile, save and compile. Now it should... Now it won't just randomly say bigger whenever, like, the bits are not up to 500. It'll make it so that when the growth count at least equals 1. Wait, did I do that math correctly? If growth is... No, not less than 1. If... Oh, wait, no. Less than 1 is, like, thank you for the thingy-majiggy. And then then there's an else. Oh, if the... Yeah, I've already got the, thing... Okay, hang on a second. I can just, I'm an idiot. I don't need to have... Hey, I need that shirt. What do you think you're doing? Who took my dragon? Why'd you have to steal my shirt? I'm busy doing important coding nonsense. Alright, cut that, and then we paste that here. Compile, save, and compile. There we go. Now we're good going forward. That is not ideal. There we go. And then we pause time. So then that way we can get to the door in time. Should have a change shirt color redeem where it randomly picks a color, so it's like a red himbo shirt and a green. You know, I have always wanted to try and do like a costume change thing. Unfortunately, the way that my, oh, I need to not do it like that. Unfortunately, because of the way that my shirt material works, I have not seen... I've not been able to replicate it in Vignon the way I want. So that's still taking, you know, research. There we go. And then, alright, let's deal with you. Alright, what do you like when I do this? Oh, that thing is so fucking powerful. Jesus Christ. Hi there, Dwagonite. Welcome to the stream. Happy Macro March. How's it going? Oh, it was Izzy that did the Cactar attack. Hi, Izzy. I'm a little bit bigger. I'm not big enough to avoid all the Cactars yet, but I am bigger. Alrighty. Ooh. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Okay. And then... Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Come on. Give me... Thank you. There we go. Bonk. Yeah, I don't really do these things. I don't have that much control over my character. Look, I don't have that much control over my character either. Like, this is just a fun one-off thing. I don't do this all the time. I know there are people in my chat that have the whole, I can swallow dark holes and things like that. But I'm gonna be real, that's not my thing. I don't just, you know, naturally... There we go. That's about as good as it's gonna have to be. Bam. There we go. Like, I don't have that as just natural thingamadiggies. It's like, you know what I do have, however? I have viewers. And I have viewers with, like, you know, crazy kind of desires and what have you. And some of them, they can like Macro March and what have you. It's fine. Alright, push you back. And then do this. There we go. That way, you're just a happy apple tree now. Oop. Push that back. Turn you into a happy apple tree. And then you there. You there, good sir. Throw me your pit. And then... Yonk, yonk. Come on, throw the pit. Throw the pit. So yeah, so like, there is no rhyme or reason, because like, canonically, I am not a zebra with like Jedi powers, but if I'm gonna play a Star Wars game, you bet your ass I'm gonna wear Jedi robes and whip out a lightsaber. Like, you know, that's just the fun of it. So for Macro March, it's just one of those things of like, oh hey, what are you gonna do? And it's like, well, I am gonna go and like, you know, do Macro March things. Okay, I don't really have a good technique for that. So that slices that. But I don't really have... Unless... Ooh, okay. Oh, and... There we go. Yeah, I'm a fucking genius! Although I should be mindful, I'm almost out of my, what's-my-whoosies. But yeah, ahoy there, Nightman! Welcome to the stream. It's fun just to do simple things, enjoy getting better. Yeah, what's more, sometimes it's fun just to do random shit. People do it for fun, and you don't need, like, a strong explanation. Why is it that everyone speaks English in the Mass Effect universe? Fucking magic. They don't explain it to you like a universal translator, or that, technically speaking, there is multiple languages or any of that nonsense until you want to deal with ancient cultures. In Star Trek, it's like, oh, they introduced Klingon and Vulcan and Romulan and all that kind of nonsense. In Star Wars... it's only when they wanted to create foreign creatures that they're like, oh, here's droid, and here's, like, Huttese and all that kind of nonsense. But back when they first started Star Wars, like, the first movie, They just spoke English. That's it. And then they made up languages. Alright, and then yoink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. So yeah, it takes like no time at all to like attack people with the coolest fucking weapon. It got a lightsaber that is a different color than everyone else in the franchise. Oh yeah, you just asked for it. He was just like, oh, what colors do you have? And he's like, well, we did blue and then we did green. And they're like, and he's like, would be cool if there was a purple one. And George was just like, yeah, okay. I love it. There's like a very famous, there's like a cool fucking. All right, here we go. Dink and dunk, just so we can slow it down. Break you. Oh, fuck. Alright, I wasn't able to break it in time, so... Alright, hang on. And I still got fucking frozen, the bastard. There we go. There we go. We made it through. So yeah. Like, sometimes you just need to ask. There are so many people at my work or in my team where it's like, hey, like, you know, they would like the work shirts and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, well, you know what they don't do? They don't go to HR and ask, hey, could I please have some work shirts? Because, like, normally you're only supposed to have, like, one work shirt. But the reason, like, they only give you one is because, well, people only have to come into the office, like, once or twice a week. Me, in desktop support, I go in more than once a week. And so I asked, hey, could we please have more than one shirt? Because I'm coming into the office almost every day, and it's kind of like a uniform. And I would much rather have multiple work shirts rather than potentially, like, you know, wearing the same work shirt day after day after day. And lo and behold, I got another work shirt. Sometimes you just ask, and sometimes it happens. Oh my god, it's a clockwork orange tree. It was a good one, god damn it. Look who's here. This guy doesn't waste any time. I like his technique. Oh, it's the owl. Alright. So, I'm guessing we need to freeze him at some point. This must be the Silver Demon Nechku. He's one of the twin demons that turned Kamui into an icy waste. What luck finding him alone. Sorry, fella. I know you just recently woke from a long slumber, but you're gonna have to go back to being a statue again. It's gonna be fun seeing if it would be smart to come up with a language for each species or just stick with it being the player language when developing a game. Just keep it as the player language. Hey, where's that bird brain going? Huh? Look, over there! Isn't that you? From 100 years ago? I don't get it. What's that old self of yours doing here? I'm guessing because of because we have the, you know, portal for time travel and such, this also, they also have, like, a means of being able to do time shit. Wow! So that's why they didn't interrupt us while we were first in the place. I guess this is how we're going to be fighting the twin, owls. Alrighty, so. Oh, hang on. Fire. Alrighty. Okay. Oop. Interesting. Okay. Oh, that is a big bomb. Okay. There we go. And then... That was cool. Okay, so we do the swipe for the thingy-majiggy, and then there was like a bomb for something? Wow! You guys really did a number on that bird brain there. Quick, Amy, before your old self steals all the glory. Finish that demon off. Oh, gold clock. What the... That's the gold demon Lechku. And look! Isn't that Oki? Oki just fucking sitting on its face, just being like, get shit on, just fucking punching him. At last, I have you cornered. I'm going to finish you off this time. Katone shall blaze silver once more. Dun, 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 dun. Welcome back, everyone. Oki was punching the shit out of the gold clock owl, and now we have 2 clock owls to deal with. Better back off for now, Amy. No, Oki, don't! This is what separates a hero from the rest. You are about to witness history in the making. Katone, trusty sword of the great hero Oki, shall awake! Has he lost his mind? Okay. What the heck? I can't move! Uh-oh.
Glug, glub, glug, glub, glug.
Everyone's just furry, huh? What? Yeah. Isn't that great? Don't you like being furry, Izzy? Also, hi, Izzy. Welcome to the stream. I didn't realize you were the one that threw the cactars until much later afterwards. How's it going? How is your evening? You doing good? I can't even breathe. Oki, get out away from there. You doing a bit lousily, actually? Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear about the, like, just lazy lousy, or things have happened lousy? You slept terribly and you didn't get enough time to work. Oh. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry you're getting bad sleep. Like, you know, it's not pleasant. It honestly is not pleasant when you get, like, disrupted sleep, whether it's cut short or it's uncomfortable. I just realized the time I need to cook dinner. Treat yourself. I bet you've got something in the fridge right now that you were saving for a rainy day. I bet, and you know what? Just a little bit. Just a little bit of it. Not like a full serving, not like the whole thing. Just a little bit. Just a little bit to treat yourself. To be fair, the sleep was my fault. I'm having a terrible habit of staying up way late in Discord calls. Oh, I see how it is. God, you're just there in the Discord calls and you're just like, everyone is so awake and we're having such a wonderful time. I don't want to miss out on this. I'll be real. If I didn't care about my sleep, I would be up in the Discord calls too. I would definitely, like, you know, jump from, like, Australian nighttime Discord calls to American morning Discord calls playing video games. So, it's very real. The combination of weather microwaving me in the wee hours, roasting my executive dysfunction. Jesus Christ, that's gotta feel terrible. At least I woke up. You wrote up more of your tabletop RPG. Oh, this is the one for, Lancer, is it? That's the mecha one, right? I've actually... Is it the mecha one? Is it called Lancer? Yes! Oh! I learned someone else in my circles has been trying out the Lancer tabletop RPG. Karn, something around... They call them Zed. I can't... Like, they're like a three-headed dog persona, but they also have, like, another persona. They've been playing in the... Hecate Zed? Yes, Hecate Zed! That's the one! That's the one! I was in a VR chat with them on Saturday, and they ended up talking about something they were doing in their Lancer campaign, which is just kind of interesting. So they might... And they stream on Twitch, by the way. Yeah, they do! They stream on Twitch. Hecate Zed. They go through all kinds of games, and I believe they're trying to make the Lancer tabletop RPG, or maybe it's another tabletop RPG, but they're doing a tabletop RPG stream as well. It's a shame their new work hours knocked the campaign out of their schedule. Yeah, they have to, like, alter it around and shit. I don't know if they've had to, like, put it on hiatus or cancel it, but yeah. You demons! Curse you! No! Oh, okay, he's just a normal person now. Past me! Survive! Now's the chance I can finish them off. Help us, Oki, damn it, help us! They had like 3 streams of Lancer in. Ah, okay.
Come on, Amy. Pull just a little more.
Come on, Oki, you damn fool, help us! Nice. Cool. So they are helping us. I think. I don't know. You're trying to rewrite a module and make it your own because it sucked and the GM also didn't help. Oof.
Oki, your sword.
Hmm? Oh, look, it's shining because of the ice or the aurora borealis or whatever reason. It's deciding to shine. Kotone. It's glowing silver. By the great spirits of the air, earth, and sea. I was so blind. I should have known. Aww, Amy's licking his hand. At last, I understand. The sacred sword, Kotone, defender of Kamui, could not possibly wake, while the heart of its wielder was clouded with selfish desire. That is why I couldn't defend Kamui with the sword, let alone protect the lives dear to me.
Now don't start turning all sappy on me, Oki. You gotta focus. Focus! Finish off those demons and you'll restore peace to your village.
O spirits of air, earth, and sea, and the sacred sword Kotone, grant me the power to save this land of Kamui. Oh.
Now you're talking.
But yeah. Oh, there's something I gotta talk about anecdotally with you, Izzy, about like sleeps and what have you. Is that like back in my day, let me just pause this. Back in my day, like probably over 10 years ago, I used to ERP, like, a lot in university. And more often than not, when I'm on F-list, I would stay up until, like, the crack of dawn or something crazy like that on the weekend. It was absolutely fucking insane. But when I did that, I didn't have, you know, a really good, like, being awake kind of thing. And I would be eating way more food than normal. So what would end up happening when I started doing, like, part-time work is I actually had to start, blah, blah, blah. I had to, like, start working, and I was starting to get sleepy while at work. I fell asleep on more than one occasion at work at this point. And that's even happened at my current job as well. Thankfully, it hasn't happened at my current job for, like, years. But it is something that has happened in the past when I didn't give myself a really good sleep schedule and, you know, do the basics of, like, you know, have coffee in the morning or an energy in the morning and sustain me throughout the day. That's happened to me. They had to hire streamers to clean your dorm room after you graduated, eh? No, they didn't. I don't think they did. I'd love to do that, but I didn't do it that long, maybe 2 hours or so. Here's the thing, is that I ERP'd with, like, oh, steamers. I added an extra R. I'm an idiot. Sorry about that, Izzy. But yeah, you know, we clean up our room before we move out and shit like that, and then they obviously do, like, you know, professional cleans and what have you. But anywhoosies, yeah, as was the case, you know, terrible sleep schedule and what have you, and I wasn't able to, like, you know, make up for it by just simply being like, oh, if I only slept 4 hours last night, I'm gonna go to sleep tonight, and I'm gonna sleep for, like, 16 hours. It's like, no, unfortunately, your body doesn't want to work like that. So, what I had to start doing, and this was kind of easy because, you know, some, like, smart devices such as, like, Android and iPhone have, like, you know, they have, like, sleep timers now, and I wear a watch when I go to bed as well, so that one monitors my, like, sleep cycles and such. But you can have, like, alarms that are like, oh, we're gonna put you in do not disturb mode while you're sleeping or something like that, and only emergency contacts can break through, or when something tries to call you more than once. So I've been trying to keep a consistent at least 7 hours to 9 hours of sleep a day. And it took me a while. It took me, like, I think it took, like, 2 weeks, 2 months of, like, you know, making that a regular thing before I was able to, like, you know, have it so that if there was a day where I stayed up too long, because of my body being so used to wanting to sleep, like, you know, set number of hours and such, I didn't accidentally fall asleep in the day or anything like that. I was able to stay up until, you know, my bedtime, and I would probably go to sleep quicker during my bedtime than normal. So yeah. Oh, hey, there's a cog. Hang on. What's the cog for? I have no idea what we just found, but it sure looks interesting. Amaterasu! This wolf isn't going to last much longer. I owe my life to this one now. I can't let this wolf die like this. Don't worry. I know this wolf's companion must be around here somewhere. You'll know him right away. He's a poncle, just like me. So this wolf has a poncle companion as well. And it looks almost exactly like Amaterasu. What's going on? Even their scents are the same. It's a long story, believe me. And this is not exactly the time to be talking. We gotta chase down these demons. You're right. We must finish them off. Let's do it together this time. Oh boy, okay. So we're going down floors. But yeah, so I don't ERP anymore. Like, I do not have the energy, like, horny energy or awake energy for it. So, you know, some people might think of that as a shame, but it is what it is. Listen, you two. I'm going to stay here with this wolf. You go on ahead. What? I can't leave this one here all alone. What happened to this wolf is all my fault. Okay. Don't worry. I don't intend on having you fight those demons alone. I'll catch up with you once I finish off the rest of the monsters and make sure this area is safe. Keep forging ahead until then. Oh, come off it already, Oki. You're not really all that tough. I mean, with your plan, we'd end up having to worry about you. But if you insist,
We'll leave this area to you. We'll go on ahead to where those demons are. Look after that wolf, okay? I will. O spirit of the air, earth, and sea, grant these two your divine power. Yes, thank you for the divine power. Me, granting them divine power. Also, what's up with my left shoulder? I'm like, Alrighty. Also, do I have, like, praise I can use? Yes, I do. Okay. I can use it to the solar energy, or I can keep saving up and put into things like the astral pouch and shit. Uh-oh. Okay, so we're gonna need to break that thingy-madiggies down. Oh, hang on. There's probably, like, a little delay that we need to worry about. 3, 2, 1. No. Okay, cool. Oh, interesting. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Nope. There's gotta be a way to... There's gotta be a way to stop this thing. Or am I just gonna be... Okay, what is the rhyme or reason as to why it decides to, like, be so fast or so slow? Come on. Oh, hang on. Nope. Okay. Never mind, then. Hi there, Neon Shark Boy! Welcome to the stream! Yes, I am a big Zeebs. The reason why I'm a big Zeebs is because because it's Macro March, and I was a fool. Alright, hang on. Ah! I know you a big Zeebs. Well, yeah, and I'm even bigger right now. I've grown like a meter in tonight's stream, which has now made me grow like 11 meters in total. You forgot about Macro March? Hey, it's okay. A lot of people forget it. Oh, hang on. Dink. Oh, hang on. What I should use is the Inkfinity. No! God damn you. Fuck. No! You gonna hop off? Have a great day? Not to worry. Nazerix, thank you so much for coming to the stream. I greatly appreciate it. I have no clue what I just did then.
No! That was my mistake. Ugh. Door. Yes, there was a door. And right now I've got to... Again. Oh, I keep making that mistake. Oh. Fire, maybe? Yeah, color me confused on this guy. I've not yet got him down pat as an understanding for, like... So he puts down the poison. 3, 2, 1. There we go. But yeah, how's your evening going? Oh, hey there, Big Joe. Big... Hi there, Big Joe. Chat, look at the viewers we get. I've had like 2 people follow me like a couple days ago with Jenna trying to have me say the, like, you know, do the genitals and shit. And then I now look and see Big Joe O'Sweeney. And I know it's Big Joe Sweeney. You talked in my streams before when I was playing the Black Myth Wukong. You can't fool me just because you decided to do a capitalization to make your name so silly. I can see when you made this account, and I can see you followed me last year. I know who this is. What a weenie. Also, now comes the fun bit where everything is on fire. Okay, cool. So, do I just... No. Okay. Everything is on fucking fire, and I don't really have a good way of combating that right now. Except, oh, let me just do you real quick. Bam. Alright. Hey, a snowball. Alright, we'll need this. I think I know exactly what I need it for. The path that looked a little hot. Yes. Just, it was a little too spicy for me right now. So we're gonna be going for the different technique. Also, get some praise, because it's always lovely. And then this thing here, get it out from the... Get it out. Come on. Oh, god damn you. Alright. There we go. And then... Oop. So, because I imagine what it wants me to do is while I have this thing, is... Alrighty. Ah, goddamn you.
Nani?
What are you drawing that on? Like, reality. Don't worry about it. It's just reality. It's fine. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so I can do that. Alright, here's what I'm gonna do. More Inkfinity, because I don't want to deal with... I don't want to deal with this puzzle any longer than I need to do. Oh, god damn you! Ah, thank you for the thing of it. Why do you even know how to jump? Yes, I know exactly how to jump. Oh, goodness gracious. Do not get soft lock here. Alright, let me just move over to this side here. And then... There we go. Come on, game. Let me just do my brush technique. There we go. There we go. Oh, I need to do a bomb here. There we go. Bite that. Then that way... Oh, god damn you, I didn't do it properly. Happy time zone, Zapper. So, it's not as easy as Warframe bullet jumping. No, it's not as easy as Warframe bullet jumping, because you have to do all this nonsense, too. And where is my... There's my snow orb. I need my snow orb to do this bit here. And then I can just go and do this. And then I'll go and do that. Although, Warframe bullet time jumping, some of the puzzles are easy, some of the puzzles not so much. So, you play Warframe, don't you? You're like a heavy user of the Warframe video game. I remember going through so much of it. I used to not care about how much time I used in my day. God, I was good. I could easily spend like 12 hours a day, no sweat, just playing video games, just enjoying my time. I used to do that on my Saturdays as well. Like, I would just nonchalantly be like, hey, let's just do a 12-hour stream. How about it? We're gonna play one video game for 12 hours. Also, where the fuck is It wants me to try and, like, light that shit on fire for whatever reason. Alright, so this is a merchant. Give me... Alright, let's have a look at some stuff. We can get mermaid coins, we can get some seeds. You know what? I'm gonna get some more infinities, because these are honestly just so fucking useful for me. I've got plenty of snacks. I don't really need them. Ooh! Oh, I am so stupid. Of course. My thingamadiggy is called Solar Flare. It's gonna have, like... I can just, you know, point it into that nonsense. Oh my god. This makes so much more sense. Touchpad or AR? Oh, the, Wait, the drawing thing? Oh, no, this is I'm just using an Xbox controller. I could still do that. Ads on now? Nah, okay. You could subscribe. It would be appreciative.
Oki? How did you get here so quick?
Actually, I owe it to that wolf and his little friend. A punkle appeared after you left and told me to go help Amaterasu. So that was the wolf's companion you were talking about, right? That wolf really seemed to perk up when that punkle appeared. It looked like the wolf had recovered somewhat. I sensed they had a bond that made me feel they'd be okay. So I left them and came rushing here. But enough talk for now. I take it that if you're here, those demons must be somewhere up ahead. Well, Amaterasu, will you fight alongside me? Will we fight together? Hell yeah, let's rumble. Why am I getting killed by your robots? What robots? Oh, the what's-a-mahoozy thing. During advertisement, I have intro fighters running in the background at all times. So then that way, like, you can't hear me, but you can at least, like, you know, while an advertisement is going off, you can see in the tiny corner of your screen, you know, the emoji avatars fighting and what have you. Anyone that chats in the stream, their like character gets dropped in and what have you. So hang on a second. Let me see if I can make it, if I can reveal them again. So you're talking about... Huh, they're not here. Hang on. Stream deck. Give me a moment. I need to... I knew I was forgetting something. Control C. Control V. Main stage, intro. So that's intro fighters in the just chatting. So that's, yeah, so chatting fighters. And then this one is main fighters. Or gaming fighters. So these guys. So, like, look, there's you! Big Joe Sweeney. Look at him. Look at him with a sword. You've already got a kill. Bleh. So now if I say something, and then there I am. Look, there's me. Oh, and, yep. So, yeah. Pretty cool, huh? So normally I have that running on the chatting screen at, like, all times kind of thing. But on the gaming screen, it only goes off when I'm, you know, in an advertisement. Grant us your divine power. Alrighty. You can't hear it, but I was, you know, cracking my nickels. I'm at the ready. Here we go. The twin demons. I bet you they're gonna combine and make one super demon, aren't they? That's what they're gonna do with this clockwork bullshit. Or not. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I thought they were gonna combine. So, this is where those bird brains went. They're trying to hide while they lick their wounds. We can't let these infernal contraptions get away with this time. And I don't think we have enough energy to chase them down again. Them? Get away again? Haha. No prey has ever eluded my trusty Denkomaru more than once. Nor my own. I'm a demon. Yes, Neon Shark Boy recently is like a demon shark boy. If any of my moderators are in the chat, could you give a shout out to Neon Shark Boy, please? Oh, hello. Dink. Alright, so... here we go. Egg? Cool. Thank you. Oh, hang on. Yeah, nice try. Oh, nope, 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 nope. Do not be on top of me. I don't know what you're trying to do. Alright. Oh, ow. Alright, let me get my Infinity, because I'm gonna need that. Or do I cook it? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Oh, that's a lightning one. So there's that. Now, Amaterasu, pull me back like an arrow and fire me at those demons. I will pull them down to the ground. There we go. Come on. Where's the... there you are. Alrighty, so there's you. Can I do fire to you? No. Can I do ice to you? No. Oop. Nice try. Come on. Do another hat trick. You know you want to. Yep, there it is. And then... there we are. Yep, so that got close to half his damage out of the way. Ooh, hello. That's mine. Thank you for the thingy. Ooh. What the fuck did you bring? Oh, so you bring an egg. So, do I freeze the egg? Is that the trick? Or do I cook the egg? No. Okay, I just need to avoid those things. Oh! That's a lightning. Dink, donk. There we go. Ah, that wasn't... don't hold... oh, okay, I gotta pull them back far to do the thing. There we go. So that does that. And then... there we go. So that gets that one out of the way. And then... so there's Silver, probably doing his own techniques now. It may have been a while, but I recently adapted it to, like, full on. Ah, okay. Fair enough, fair enough. Understandable. It takes quite a bit for me to keep track of... Oop. Oop. And... Dunk. And then dunk. Bam. There we go. So that slice. 2, 3, 4... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, God, that wasn't enough. I should have done a slice when it was, like, down on the ground like that. Come on. Come on. Mine. Thank you. Oh, hang on. Bomb. There we go. So that's 1. Alright, what's the next thing you're gonna do? Oh. Nice try. Won't work twice. Oh. Yep. Nice try. Come on. Pull out a sword or something. Go, and then damn it. Just one more would have been enough. Thank you. That's going to be useful for me. There we go. Yes! That will do it. Woohoo! That was a good explosion. The twin demons, which had suddenly awoken atop Ezofuji and tried to lay waste to the land of Kamui, were defeated. They disappeared in a burst of petals thanks to Oki and Amaterasu. However, a giant cloud black as night cast a shadow on the scene. Blight, Nine Tails, the twin demons Leku and Nechku. The souls of each were swept into the cloud as it moved. It drifted towards the Ark of Yamato at the bottom of Laochi Lake. The Ark of Yamato is beckoning all of the world's darkness within. Tuskull's words echoed ominously, awakening Amaterasu's heart. All the sacrifices, all the life lost in the name of good, was it all in vain? Shiranui, Amaterasu's 100-year-old incarnation, was fatigued and exhausted by the intense battle. However, when Shiranui noticed the glow of Okami's sword Katone, a sly smile seemed to crease the wolf's tired lips. Satisfied with this bright glimmer of hope, Shiranui struggled to rise and put every last ounce of strength into passing through Ishikaru's gate back in time, back home. As Amaterasu and Isun looked on, they were fully aware that Shiranui headed back into the face of danger, to the battle with Orochi, After saving Nagi from the clutches of death and aiding them in their own quest, Shiranui would die a hero, marking the beginning of the legend of Orochi. Ishaku left the scene. His eyes betrayed the sort of toughness one exhibits when preparing for a grave event. Oh hey, we got another sundial. You have attained a sun fragment. Awoo. Terrible amount of timing, but hey, the damage was alright. Would you like to save your game? Yes, please. Ding, dong. Yeah. Brilliant. Amaterasu and the others returned to the foot of Ezofuji. There they saw Laika praying intently. The storm had subsided. Then, as if to celebrate their hard-won victory, the twin volcanoes of Ezofuji erupted in great pillars of flame. The villagers felt the warmth on their skin and wept tears of joy. However, Oki merely surveyed the scene stoically, remaining silent. Although the evil demons have been driven away, the thought of having taken the sword and caused so much grief weighed heavily on his heart. The only one who could ease the burden of his woes was Samikul. The chieftain who had rescued Kemu from the shrine stepped forward. Silently, he approached Oki, offering an outstretched hand. His eyes betrayed the complexity of emotions behind the gesture. Oki, realizing the gravity of the scene, extended his hand in return. Just pretend we're shaking hands. The moment they shook hands, Wepkir was reborn into a village far too strong to ever fall victim to evil again. As for Kotone, the sword that vanquished the twin demons, it was returned to its pedestal by Oki's own hand. As long as the glow remained, no evil dare draw close. Kotone's gleam spoke of a power too great to succumb to evil. At that moment, a brilliant flash of light shot forth from Kotone, striking squarely on the frozen surface of Louchkey Lake. Though the lake had never shown any signs of melting, cracks began to open up along its surface. The legend of the Iron Ark Yamato, said to have fallen from the heaven, and the holy Louchkey Lake, which is called home, was revealed to be more than a mere legend. Ah! Ah! Oh, that did my throat. Ah. The giant iron ship just being pulled. Furball? Nah, just, trying to do like a epic voice and, doing it very harshly because it's all in the back of my throat. No idea if this sounds good or if it sounds like smoker's cough. The moon people. Oh, wait, no, never mind. It's just a rainbow. Alright. I am going to save the progress of my game here because, quite frankly, it's past 9 o'clock. I am tired. I have work the next day as well. I gotta sleep. I got work the next day. Thankfully, I get to work from home tomorrow, which is a positive, but, you know, I still gotta sleep and what have you, so I am so sorry about that. Since none of my moderators are here, I'm gonna go and give a shout out to Neon Shark Boy, because because, there we go. Neon Shark Boy, there we go. They were last doing just chatting. Look at them. Look at that Shark Boy. Wearing like a tank top and having stripy horns. Very demon-y. But yeah, thank you oh so much for everyone who came along to the stream. I really appreciate it. I am glad that I was able to make some pretty good progress in Okami. We will be picking up on more Okami in the future. That is going to be Wednesday night after work, so hopefully I'll see some of you there. For those of you that are here like at the very end, so sorry, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. I hope you all had a wonderful time. I'm in the macro March. I grew 1.3 meters in tonight's stream. Yay, good for me. In future, subs and cheers on the next time I stream will help, play in towards the growth. And let's go and have a look and see who is online and who we can go and raid. You know who's someone I have not seen stream for a long time? Zevin. It looks like they're dealing with a sore throat, but it looks like they're doing some pretty good art, so I hope you'll join in with me on this one. We're gonna go with the short raid message himbo raid. We've got the emotes of the arrival, so if you're subscribed, you can use those. If you're not subscribed, that's okay. You're welcome to use whatever other kinds of emotes that you want that you feel would be appropriate. And other than that, yeah, just thank you everyone for coming along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. I will be back online Wednesday for more Okami. I will also be streaming Saturday night because I'm working the Saturday shift this week at work. But if I don't see you then, I hopefully will see you all next time. Bye for now.